Hey pirates, I hope everyone had a good raid. I know this raid a lot of people were able to finally redeem the hunter, and many people were asking the TFC on the TFC page how should they be built. So this video is going to be now after the first raid and things being tested and observed and everything. This is my final take on how I'm going to build my hunter MK1 fleet, which I'm sharing now with you. For starters, I always build the naked hull so I can rank as many as possible. If you build it just with one gun, it's just under 4 days. In the raid we had 10 days of ship build tokens for hunter and about 5 days of regular ship build tokens. People who were able to get them will easily be able to get 3, maybe even 4 of those easily before VXP weekend with just one gun. I mean, just come in here, go on the depth charges, and hopefully you got the hound tooth depth charge, and that's the right weapon for the hunter. If you don't have it, Garwood is the second best choice. Okay, so let's go here. So just build it like that. If you were able to redeem a bunch of tokens, again 4 of them easy before the XP weekend. People who got them before raid by now certainly have 3-4 shells or partially built at many different states. I expect the TLC to run again, and that will be another opportunity to get tokens both for build and VXP, so there's no need in my opinion to go crazy on VXP weekend. Just wait for the tokens, right? As far as the other weapon slots, I mean, once we start putting everything together, use the Hound's Tooth on all weapon slots where you can. You can put up to 6 of them. And then countermeasures. One option is to go all Gales or all Hail Ds. I am doing a mix because that's gonna offer me different ranges, different cycle times. And should maximize the output, making sure that you always have countermeasures firing when 2 or even 3 of those gluttonies fire mortar ring at you. So that's very important. The one most obvious special that there's no discussion about is you need ablative armor 3 on your hunters. That's gonna give them explosive defense. The next thing you want is a speed system. I am doing mine with speed system 6, which I got recently in the tech app TLC. If you don't have that, you might want to use hydraulic resistors or Magnus Drive 3 or even 2, but 2 takes too long to build and you don't get the turning speed, which you don't need if you're gonna autopilot really. Then you can just go Magnus 3 and make it fast, right? But I'm still going speed system 6. I like that it gives me a certain amount of evade, and I like having both the turning and combat speed in it. The next special, you probably got it in raid, is the PBX system. Let me just find it out down here. Here we go, PBX payload. Great chance of having critical hits. There's no substitute for that special, so if you don't have it, you're just gonna have to use something like explosive system or concussive upgrade, something that buffs a different stat. Okay, there's nothing else you can use here for critical hit on depth charges. Then for concussive damage, there are 2 choices. You can either use from last year the advanced concussive payload, or you can use strike warheads. These are the 2 best choices. I am going to use advanced concussive payload because it gives extra reload and extra damage. Now, a lot of people questioning me, why am I using Guidance Scrambler? There's 2 reasons. The first reason is very simple. There are some torpedoes that are fired at your ships when the enemies get close, not at their maximum range, but when they get closer, and they do a lot of damage, and they are accuracy based, so having evade helps. The second reason is You don't need agility system at all because the hunter is unreactive down to 0 seconds. So all those effects that slow ships down and everything will absolutely not affect the hunter. Just as they don't affect the Fangtooth, but they do affect the Zelos and the Tideseekers. Okay, so just regular evade is enough. And that brings us down to the last special. Here's a bit of a mix. There are different trains of thought. None of them actually wrong, but I'll tell you something. At least on a couple of ships, use a countermeasure buffing special. I mean, if you got countermeasure loader 4, great. If you have countermeasure loader 3, use that one. I mean, use something to make your countermeasures, your hailstorms, gales better. You don't need that on all ships if you don't want. That's up to you. I mean, at least 2 of them. And I'm not building all my 5 ships the same. So that's going to be the setup for at least 2 of my ships, maybe 3. Okay. On the other ships, you have a different choice. You can come here. Where is it? Here. High velocity rounds. I noticed that the speed of the projectiles in the Houndstooth is not fast enough against the Zerkid Goblin Sharks in the targets, and it was missing them a lot and taking longer to kill them. So you might want to consider having a buff of 100% on your projectile speed. A compromised way of getting that is by picking explosive system 4. Let me just find it here. It's now up here. So that one gives you 43% projectile speed and it gives you more splash, which is great. A third option is the good old combustion system 2. So this one will give you 37% projectile speed, more spread, which helps against fast moving enemies, and great splash. So that could be my choice for 2 of my ships. So 2 or 3 of them with countermeasure loaders, and the other 2 or 3 with combustion system 2. Okay, so that's going to be my setup. In terms of armor, very important to have charged armor X. It was 3 million points in last raid, and I hope you all got some of them. You know, very important. If you can have 2, have 2, but 1 is a great starting point. Worst case, you're gonna retreat from the target and get back in with the full recharge. And then, of course, 1 of the charged CT, that helps you against those nasty torpedoes they fire at a closer range. Okay, without that, you'll be taking a lot more damage. I don't recommend going heavy on regular armor like D5 CT, D5X, because your repair time will just go through the roof. So I'd rather you go light if needed. If you don't have charged armor, use D1X, use D2 CT, and work your ass off next raid or next TLC to get charged armor. That's very important. It's not a luxury item as people were saying, or Kixai was saying at first. It's night and day. Okay? So anyways, for next raid, that's my plan. That's my build. 2 or 3 ships like this, 2 or 3 ships with countermeasure loaders. The flagship. So the flagship has a bit of a different behavior because it has a lot of armor. So what happens is, if you pick the flagship with the same specials, it's immediately overweight. There are a few ways of countering that by the first thing you can do is just go from ablative armor 3 to ablative armor 2. So that's a way. And now you have way to spare. Another way is either not putting countermeasures at all on the flagship or going real light. Okay. And then probably we can go back to ablative 3. Now keep in mind, I am using shipyard level 5. My weight reductions are maxed out. So if you're still running shipyard 4, even this build may be overweight for you. But anyways, that's it. Just build it like the others. and have fun. That's whole fleet. I hope you understand the choices made. This setup should work very, very effectively. Just as I saw some players running similar setups during their raids already. And I had 3 ships and I tested my 3 ships and this worked pretty well. Subscribe to my channel if you like more how to build ship videos or more base clinic videos and the likes. See you next TLC or whatever Kickstarter throws at us. Take care, pirates.